What's going on, everybody?
What's happening?
What's up, Brooke, Cody, Steven, Soy Clubberville? Probably mispronouncing that. Let's see. So we've got some footage today from Gi class on December 16th that we're gonna go over. So let's get into it. Gavin and Aiden, and this is sure to be a fun-loving romp, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So get me out of the way. And they're already off screen. That was good. It looked like Gavin did well to avoid back. Oh, he's got an illegal grip on the pants there.
He does. He
Little
does.
cheater.
Oh, we got Brandon, Caleb in the back.
Aiden working on his triangle.
Yep.
Did he cut the right angle there?
I don't.
He's not really digging, so yeah, he kind of cuts to the wrong way. If he was going for a traditional front triangle.
Yeah.
So he should be digging with his left arm under Gavin's right leg.
That's right.
To go for a front triangle.
Mm-hmm. I think you got it.
Looks like it.
Looks like.
I don't know why he untucked everything, but
I don't know.
I think Gavin goes for like a cheeky little like jump here, and Aiden just takes full advantage of it.
Oh,
Puts him
really?
down, yeah. Yeah, he was just. I think he was just joking around, and Aiden's like, "All right, you want to see more old competition videos, Brooke? Yeah, we could do some more of that. Maybe on Wednesday or next. Well, I guess next Sunday we're not going to be doing the stream, but
Yeah.
but yeah,
but on
absolutely.
Wednesdays or whatever. Yeah, sure.
What was the what'd you like about it? Just watching us suck really badly?
Yeah.
Looks like Aiden's trying his Peruvian, but nowhere near. Get you.
So who do we have? Is that Austin in the back and
Looks like Austin
okay,
and Camden.
Camden. I'm really liking this setup. Really nice, Austin.
With Austin?
Yeah, well done.
Let's look at that again.
Bow and arrow choke.
A little further.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
So he
Sweet.
comes around, gets his hips out. I love that, right? We talk about the ability to be able to crawl up the back, but sometimes and a lot of times getting your hips out from underneath the person is, just as good, and it really kind of starts that motion. So I really like that you scooted your hips out. Readjusting.
Yeah, that was great.
Good. He had the knee in the back too, so that knee in the back is really sucks for a person getting strangled. There's a lot of pressure that can come on there.
Yeah. What else do we have going on? I saw Caleb attempted a double ankle sweep, or like from the standing guard break there. Looks like Brandon was ready to pinch his knees, but I don't think Caleb committed to the get up quickly enough, so he didn't really have to worry about it. Yeah, opts to play a standing guard, and so we've talked about this a little bit in the past with like bugging the feet against a standing opponent. This is something you often hear like Gordon Ryan echoing in his technique. This the breakdowns of his technical systems. he says that there really isn't ever a good time to stand square against an opponent, a seated opponent, right? And I in my experience, I tend to agree. Like you're just kind of a sitting duck. You should be moving. You should be trying to flank your opponent. Or trying to step a leg up the middle to work your passes, whatever. There's no need to stand square in front of an opponent, and when you do, it leaves you open to things like that, right? Just kind of the double Kouchi. Brandon recovered that, but that's a cue for him. He should stagger his stance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't hit a double Kouchi on somebody if they're in a staggered stance.
Aiden had a pretty slick clamp guard set up for Kimura on Gavin.
Okay.
So he, like, at least before the break, he was really digging on clamp guard.
Yeah.
And he's setting it up and hitting it really well.
Nice. That was good. Yeah, we'll do more of the old competition videos, and next time we'll actually have some victories, so you won't get to laugh at us quite as badly. But yeah, it's always nice to go over when you lost, but it's pretty sweet to watch yourself make another man quit. Not sure what Gavin's trying to do with the cloth here, but
So here's my thing with especially when you're new-ish, right? I mean, Gavin's not new, right? But I mean like, I'll say just white belts that get very fixated on the cloth, on gi, is that notice that while Gavin's doing all of that, Aiden gives two shits about what's happening, right? And he passed the guard,
Right.
switches over, and then gets the submission, right? Unless you have a real legit plan for what you're gonna do with that piece of cloth, like, let it go. It's not doing anything for you, like, get grips that are going to do something and move on with it, right?
Yeah, you can kind of tell, like, Gavin's grips did nothing to control Aiden's hips there, or like, it really just the way the grips he was using just kind of held Aiden's shoulders close to his. Speaking of grips, I'm just gonna go back a step. Caleb and Brandon up top had a
scissor sweep.
Yeah, Caleb had a really great scissor sweep that we've seen a lot from him lately.
Yeah.
But right here, so it's just a cool little grip exchange, right? Brandon goes for the knee, rightfully so, looking to pin the knee, maybe try to step over. And Caleb immediately recognizes a wrist, easy enough to grab, right? So he gets that. He's already set up in place for the scissor sweep, right? Like, look where his legs are. Right, he's got that high leg on the back. As soon as he gets that wrist grip, he knows that he's got the scissor sweep, and he immediately hits it. That was really, really good, really good timing. And then comes up for
Nice
the armbar.
transition. Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Super deep on that. That was
Very nice. Yeah. I like how Brandon tried to keep him going. I think that's a good thing to get used to, is trying to keep your opponent almost overcommitting. It just didn't work out that time.
Yeah, Brooke, we'll do other students' footage too. The only reason we were doing our stuff was because we have it, right? So if we can get like, if you want to send some of your competition footage in, if you have any, that'd be super cool to go over that. We did do the breakdowns from Naga like a month or two ago, for everybody that competed.
About a month.
Yeah. So we're all about it. As we kind of get back into the groove with the school, going back to competitions, we're definitely going to break down every other student's footage that we can. It's just much easier to make fun of ourselves or each other, Mike and I.
Yeah.
Without knowing we're not going to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah, we really didn't make it hard at the beginning.
So Brandon's working his standing guard break, which is good. It's a little bit, it's more difficult to do the one that I like in the gi, just because of the ability to grab the cloth, right? You're contending with some different grips, but I find it still workable. And if you have trouble with it, you could always try to work a log splitter pass or something like that too while you're standing there. But still, these two idiots, I still highly advocate. Little arm drag trip. We've seen from him quite a lot. I think Gavin's largely just given up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can review competition footage from when you were 10. That would be pretty hilarious, but I don't think you would learn too many lessons from it. Plus, it's probably on like VHS or something. Actually, I don't know. She's not that old.
No.
Yeah. Mini Murderbrook would be
yeah.
fun. Austin's doing a real good job of just trying to keep you from getting to the standing position.
Yeah.
Right. It's really difficult to start opening up guys' arms when you're pinned on your back like that. But you have to start off balancing, your opponent, getting them to base out, or going 2-on-1 on an arm.
Yeah, I'm normally trying to, I only like to stand up when I feel like I can get the double bicep tie. And just the amount of pulling that he was doing on my top half, I was just not comfortable being able to, effectively stand up.
Yeah. Poor Gavin in the back. Getting smashed by Caleb.
Yeah.
Working the triangles of the pass. So yeah, this is where you gotta start working to get inside position on your north-south escape. Right? Looks like he's got his right arm in. There we go. That's much better. That way he can start to get out, get back to side control at least. If he can't get his knees in, to just kind of re-guard and cut his 180. Trying really hard on the elbow escape. Looks like he's thinking to go out the back. Can't dig his arm through.
Normally waiting for people to overcommit on the elbow escape there, and try and slide around and take the back.
I think you and I could probably both stand to practice mounted triangle escapes more. Like just late stage, positional drilling, because that is such a hard spot to handle.
It is.
And honestly, I mean, like, my own strategy there is typically just to like bait the guy or encourage my opponent into rolling to a triangle from the back, right? Like, hope that they don't have good finishing technique from the mounted spot. But that's an absolutely terrible strategy to have, is hoping someone else's technique is bad. Might you suggest crushing, Ron? Are you talking about from
the mounted triangle?
Who, the person on top? Yeah.
Oh, to escape the triangle. Yeah, from the if they were attacking from the bottom, you mean, Veronica?
Yeah. I'm talking about practicing as the person on bottom in a mounted triangle trying to escape.
Yeah.
Right, that would be now yeah, if you manage to get the guy in the mounted escape to roll over, then
crush
and no, Ronnie, I still don't recommend crushing. Recommend more technical escapes.
Mesh.
Tapping works. I'm very well practiced at that.
So here, it's funny. People have been doing that to me a lot lately, to prevent the step over. Riding that right leg on top of my hip. You see that?
Yeah, right here.
There. Yeah, he did it earlier too, and I'm sitting here thinking the one thing that I'm thinking I could do is that if I switch to a crossface, like a standard crossface, there I could just basically hook his left leg and drag him over, you know what I mean, and like roll him over for a back take. But like, since I've got this reverse Kesa type of a position, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do from there cleverly, to get either the mount or to maybe transition to something fun.
Yeah, I mean, the wall is in the way here, but shrimping your hips back away from your opponent's hips,
and then pulling the legs down, right?
Yeah, that might if you're just dead set on trying to get to mount, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to find something interesting to go into.
Yeah.
And I find this position very fun to play with now, because as people are starting to do that to me, I've got to figure out different ways to transition into. I think right now I see it as a very good north-south choke transition, right? I've got the neck wide open here. If I can fish under and snatch the head, and then I can literally just walk around the side, driving my lat across the chin the entire time, it sets up for a very good north-south choke.
Yeah, you could also use that, like, that setup that Coach Luke likes with sitting into the cross ashi position, right? Where instead of using your top leg to step over, you know, you scoot your hips back,
left leg,
and then use your bottom leg to step in. That could be another alternative to the mount. That would be something a bit more entertaining.
Yep.
Potentially. Right, you and Brandon. Don't sleep on the Sunday stream, James.
Or the second one.
Yeah.
We're
Except for next weekend, you can you can sleep on that one. We won't be doing it next weekend.
Won't do it. Matt's slacking next weekend. I'll totally be here, but you know, he has to take time off.
Yeah. Speaking of, my arm finally moves again. So
That's good.
I can get it up a little bit higher than I've been able to. Could almost ask a question with my left hand.
So you're training next week?
Yeah, back to it, 100%. Just don't touch my arm. I was showing Mitch on Friday night the rolling Kimura entry, because we had the who's number one grappling matches on, and he saw what's his name, the kid, he's like 4'11", they call him the Giant Slayer. He was up against Mikey Musumeci, and he was doing a lot of cartwheel passing, and Mitch took a keen interest in that, and I'm like, there are better dynamic passes I think you could work. And I like took the sling off and went up to Danny and like went over for the rolling Kimura and like slowly managed to roll over, and actually I could do the move. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting there. And then I went home and took ibuprofen.
Yeah, like 6 of them. Yeah, he's definitely been very keen on the. Steven has been very keen on the Kimura in general,
rolling,
right? Like the rolling Kimura, you know, entry for sure, but just Kimuras in general. Yeah, definitely.
There was a week where, or a training session where he was hitting them on Dan, or I think he hit like 1 or 2 on Danny. But yeah, he uses those every time you think you're passing. If you leave your arm behind, Steven's immediately on it and making you second guess everything you just did. Back up a little bit.
Nice.
So he's got both arms out, so he's not in a whole lot of trouble.
No, he's got one in and one out.
Are you sure? I thought.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He didn't like I think he didn't like how I was on his neck or something. He wound up tapping on that.
Oh, okay. Maybe just cranking a bit.
But I was trying to break his posture down, and then he didn't. He was like, I don't like that. I was like, okay, let's just.
Give you
no shame in that whatsoever. Yeah, if it don't feel right, tap.
Yeah, that was a good example of just listening to your body and not fighting through it like an idiot. Seen a few new names in the chat. Welcome, guys. Follow us if you haven't, please.
Yeah, we have streams on Wednesdays and Sundays
at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock, both days, Eastern.
If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Can't promise we'll be able to help you, but we'll try. Scoot ahead on this one. So actually, you know what? While we're here, so this is a good a good time to think about what sort of mount escapes you could be working, right? So it looked like, I want to say it looked like Brandon was maybe considering like an UPA here, right? He's got your upper, your arm trapped up top. He's using the leg trap down below. And this would be the time for him to plant off his right foot and bridge heavily over his right shoulder, right? And we never roll to the side. We roll over the shoulder, kind of like we're doing a back roll, right? And I think maybe... So, okay, roll to the wrong side. All right.
He uses momentum, right? He's trying to
kind of
switch it over.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when that doesn't work, right, you need to be immediately working to the next thing. You're probably giving him that same spiel here.
Maybe, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it looks like you're going over the UPA with him. Let's skip ahead. Okay. But yeah, whenever... Just like with your stand-up game, when that first takedown attempt doesn't work, you got to move to the next thing, right? In this case, it looked like you were telling him to start working on hip escaping.
Yeah. Generally, that's my advice to most people. UPAs are great. I think UPAs definitely get you out of a really nasty mount. But what I don't like about UPA is that I'm immediately having to open a closed guard. So I would prefer to go, into my guard on my own terms.
Yeah.
So that's just my own personal preference.
I want to see Caleb just snap your face down into the mat right now. He's so high up over you, and I feel like he could really impose on you. That was nice. That was good.
Yeah.
And it looked like he may have been waiting for that, right? Like, he wasn't really blocking his legs too much. His head's out in front. He's putting a lot of weight on you. Maybe hoping you're going in for leg because he feels confident in his ability to sprawl.
Yep.
And we should say this was back when he was a lowly white belt. He has since been promoted to blue. I think that was like a month ago now, so belated congratulations. You're finally, a human in our eyes. I think something some of our students could stand to improve on, and all of us certainly, but turtle breakdowns and just opening up opportunities to enter into the back from turtle would be a really good thing to brush up on. Right, it went from having you turtled up to now you're now working a dangerous open guard, right? But he could have used that opportunity to work a back entrance.
Yep.
How's it feel, sucker? He knows it too. He's like, he's been scissor sweeping everybody, and you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
It almost looked like he just fell into it. He's like, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, the key on this scissor sweep is, and why it does look and feel effortless if you're doing it, it is like, watch, I pull him on top of me and load him up before I start cutting the legs away. If you're bigger than your opponent, then you normally can just twist them and get him to go over, right? But with Caleb, I have to, number one, he has a really good base. Number two, if he doesn't want to move, he doesn't have to move.
Yeah.
And so I'm pulling him up so his hips are really high up. And then as that's happening, I'm starting the action of extending my left leg and driving my right leg, towards my butt.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, just this angle between the guys' at the guy's knee is indicative of how successful you're gonna be, right? If he's sitting butt to heels, his weight's back, there's no point in even trying the scissor sweep. But yeah, you went early on, trying to get his hips over his knees and further if you can, to hit that. Back.
Yeah, I know I don't want to end up on bottom anymore with him. Like, being on bottom with Caleb is terrible. He's got very good attacking pressure. He's always going for a submission. He's always going for a dominant, like a dominant position change.
Yeah.
That just doesn't bode well for the person on bottom, right? And when I get into this top position, I want to end the match. Like, I want to be done with it. First of all, but second of all, it's in the back of my mind. It's like, don't get back on bottom.
Yeah.
And like, me holding him down here is not, at least for me, it's not an easy thing to do, right? Like,
one thing I like to do, so he's doing something really annoying for you, right? Right there, he gets that pants grip on your on the lead leg, right? So here, the problem with that is he's going to make it very hard to settle into a side control, a tight side control. Think ahead a few steps from here. Like, if you wanted to go for a dorsal Kimura, if you wanted to,
can't step around, right?
Right, yeah, step around the armbar, you're gonna be shut down a lot. So, using your free leg to pummel on top of his forearm, the second his pants grip loses, like, either because you managed to rip your leg away or you pummeling your shin on top of his forearm, you're immediately around to north-south, if you have his far side arm, which I can't tell, I don't think you have it right now.
I think he's got it tucked. I'm trying to drive his shoulder down on the mat.
Yeah. If you do have it, you're in an immediately advantageous attacking position. So anytime people like grip on my pants like that, that tends to be my go-to. I'd rather see him using that arm to frame your hips, instead of that pants grip.
He gives me one bump and I'm like flying,
Yeah. Yeah, I think, go back a second. So it looks like, yeah, see, he starts to open his elbow up there, and that just gives you all the angle you need to attack more.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, he's trying to turn over, but my knee is, preventing that from happening.
Yeah. Gotta start turning into your opponents when they're going north-south like that. Just sooner, right? Before they can get settled in. Especially against you, like, your north-south is so... you're just a heavy blanket, right? If anybody lets you settle in to that position, it's a really hard thing to dig yourself back out of.
Yep. Yeah, and here he's staying very tight. I do wind up finding, and this is often on him too, right? Like I find open elbows on him, but he makes it very difficult for me to capitalize on them. Like you would think I would be able to just like scoop him up like I normally do, and he explodes out of those air. Like, you know, he knows when enough is enough, and he gives me a good pop when it's the right time, and it sets me off balance.
Yeah, that's.
You can see here, I'm literally up. Oh, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I'm going for the exact same setup the entire time. I'm really trying to get to S mount. That's my goal here. And I think I'm going for a choke. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because the time was about to run out, so I was trying to do something. All right, so
yeah, Justin has a question.
For mounted triangle, you always want the leg that scoops the head to be above the arm, right? Anytime that wouldn't be true. Mounted the scoops the head.
So are you talking about the leg that goes across the back of the neck being above what arm? The arm that is inside the triangle or outside the triangle?
Above the shoulder.
To be above the shoulder. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I totally follow. So that arm would be outside. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think of every triangle, you know, that you hit from your back. You know,
one in, one out.
Yeah, roll the guy over. So the arm that's behind the head should be sitting above the shoulder, right? And then you would cut your angle, you know, the same way that you typically do. Does that answer the question? And if not, we'll just go over it in class.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Remind us at class this week if you're there, and we'll just make sure we're on the same page. So it looks like Austin's trying to hit like a cross collar choke, maybe a loop choke setup there.
Yep. I actually really liked what he was doing in open guard at the very beginning of the roll. We don't have to go all the way back, but
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And I mean, I know, Matt, you do this, right? I think it's the sign of a good guard player, but Austin, just for room for improvement, I want pressure with your heels and your foot on the hips, like at all times. There should be no time where you see how your like left leg there. I know you're going over for that into a closed guard, right? But you can be very effective open guard with strong, like, you know, a strong frame on the hips with your feet, pushing on the knees to try and get people off balance. You know, like I'm doing that quite a lot now, and you probably saw me today, you know, like training with various people, like especially against bigger people. Like you can't let them engage their knees into your hips.
Yeah.
Once that happens, you're smashed, right? You may as well, you know, you're just gonna get passed at eventually, right?
Yeah.
Matt is very good at this.
So a good default open guard in the gi is kind of what you have here. Same side sleeve grip, right? So this arm to this arm, right? Foot that same side leg of yours right in the hip. I'd like to see a bit more engagement with the heel, like towards the front of the hip. Yep. A cross collar grip, which you have here. This is fantastic. And the last thing that I'll typically throw into that is my other foot is going to be on the bicep, right? I'm pushing the arm up with my foot. So I've got same side wrist grip, cross side lapel grip, one foot on the hip, where all my upper body grips are. I've got a foot on the hip on that same side, and then my last limb, my other leg, is in the far bicep. And I think the more you play with that, you'll find that it really, really plays well to triangles. Like, since that's been your game for a while now, that'll help open up some really good opportunities on triangles. But then you can also hit, like, you could easily transition into tripod sweeps, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and or just easily pulling the guy into guard if it comes to that, But yeah, that open guard that you're working there is very useful. You can make it a little bit better just with your heel placement and what you're doing with your other foot too.
And you could tell, like, look at Caleb's reaction to the guard, the placement of your feet.
We grab,
as soon as
I saw that.
He does not, he doesn't like it there, right?
Yeah.
So that means
he's trying to get it off.
Exactly. Yeah. So that means that he feels like either very controlled, he feels like he's going to be off balanced, right? He feels like he's in threat of a submission. Like there's all sorts of things. Exactly. Right. And that's what your opponent's telling you by doing. Like when they're starting to strip certain grips or starting to focus on certain areas, is like, hey, I don't like that. So chances are when you're seeing stuff like that, that means that that's what you're doing really well.
I want to see more people using the handstand sweep or the headstand sweep.
Mm-hmm.
That standing guard break.
That's the one where you underhook the leg and then go back. Yeah.
You go elbow deep on the ankle and then get your hand up like you're trying to headstand up backwards and take your hips over the guy's knee.
Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm good at. I need to work on that one so much.
I think my arm would break off if I tried to do it right now.
Yeah.
Like, just miming it hurts. Caleb stayed nice and steady, and now he's working on this Kimura.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Not sure what grip he's going for there. All right, so maybe this can clarify Justin's question. So, mounted triangle, he's almost to it, right? But the leg going behind the head is over the shoulder, like hiding the shoulder. Like, I think that's what you were asking. Let's see what he does with the other leg. If he's going for a mounted triangle, he needs to sloppy. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. There we go. So yeah, you would be there.
Oh yeah. So
there
yeah,
would be a case where it was reversed.
So okay, you can of course cross your feet the other way. So can you go back to where he had it right here, and then he goes up and he grabs. So in this case, Caleb is trying to do the strangle arm with his left foot that comes across. He could take his right foot and like go underneath the arm side of it, right? And he could go to like what Dan Herr calls the Handstand Sweep or the wrong way triangle. You can definitely set it up that way. I don't know that it's very easy to do.
Yeah, I've never seen a mounted version of that, or not that I can recall. If Caleb took his right leg and put it behind, in this case, what I would see that leading to is an armbar, right? I would see him rotating his body around that arm, right? And that would then become like this leg would then become the cross leg over the face, right? And he would be sitting right into an armbar at that point. If he kept going past the armbar, again with that leg kind of leading the way, I would see it going to a rear triangle position, right? Or the whatever Ushiro Senkaku, right? Now setting up a wrong way triangle would be, I feel like that'd be super difficult for mount, but that'd be worth trying.
It would be definitely difficult to get in this case, if we're looking at from this angle, I'll just use Caleb's left foot would have to come basically over top of Austin's body, I think, in order to really get a strong finish there. But what I will say is that people set up a rolling omoplata from the top with that setup. So if Caleb again shoots his leg through, and then he takes Austin's left hand and puts it in Caleb's right pocket, like Caleb puts his hand in the pocket. Then if he rolls over top of that shoulder, he has an omoplata.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so people do set that up in, and I've seen it in IBJJF gi tournaments. But I don't know how high percentage or anything it is. So I guess to answer your question, Justin, is that, yeah, there's definitely a triangle there. I don't know how you would finish it from the mount. But also, there's other options from there that can lead to submission if you take, in this case, Caleb's right leg up, and kind of reverse that position. You've got a lot of options there.
Yeah, I'd like to play around with that. See what you could do. But yeah,
I think Caleb's trying to roll through in order to get that triangle, and
yeah, I don't know. That's why I think it's better to work on the finishing mechanics from the mount for this. The roll, so you definitely don't just want to like fall face first. I'd want to see this hand going that way, like shooting across, like how you almost lead yourself when you do a forward roll from a standing position. I think that would facilitate the roll. Mitch was trying some stuff on me with today. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the way that I think about finishing the triangle from mount, okay, is that you should always have an armbar threat from the triangle from mount.
Yeah.
So like the way that you cut the angle, you should have the trapped arm. You should be able to go and hug that arm. And if you're not getting the strangle, you should be able to step up with the support leg in order to get the armbar.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fail-safe.
Yeah, they work so well together. There's no reason to not be attacking both. It's like he was trying and then thought twice about hopping over into mount.
Yeah.
Sitting back for a leg attack. It's funny. There have been so many people I think you and I have spoken to since we started jiu-jitsu, like people from other schools and other squads, that like their coaches, what Austin just did here, their coaches would flip out and probably throw them off the mat, right? Which is he like made a, you know, an attempt at a guard pass, and then when it didn't work, he said, all right, I'm gonna enter legs, right?
Yeah.
And that's a, you know, I get where people come from, like where coaches say, you know, I don't want you guys, or I don't want white belts passing or attempting leg locks because I want you to work on passing your guard. And I think there's something to that. But where I disagree is that they look at it as like this lazy thing, you know, when really it's just another technique. And like, I can't tell you how many times I've probably tried to pass your guard and said, nah, this isn't working. Let me sit back on the legs right now, or whatever.
And it leads to other stuff. It's
Right.
not like in today's day and age, like, you know, I would say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you know, those coaches were 100% right. You know, like teaching somebody how to do leg locks prevented them from learning how to pass guard. In today, like, teaching somebody leg locks is smart for one, you know, because you have to go and be able to defend against them and whatnot, right? But it's also, it leads to so many different scrambles and different types of positions,
Right.
that you wouldn't normally find yourself in otherwise. So I think it's smart.
I think you got a compression choke on him there.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible feeling.
I think they both feel a little bad right now. Caleb's doing the right thing. He's got Austin's head and hips, head and shoulders under his control. And he's looking south to see how he can free his knee. Going right over in the mount.
Yep.
It is interesting that he opted out of mount there, though. Like, once he got there, he was only there for a few seconds till he willingly backstepped off into this position, where it seems like he's pretty strong with his like cross-side arm attacks. So I'm not gonna say stop polishing those, but Caleb, when you get, you know, when you're in the mood for another challenge, or maybe you start to feel really good with these, so you want to say, all right, what else can I do? How can I stay in mount? How can I attack in mount longer? That might be another good project for you, right?
I think I'm telling him to be careful there. That's why he was talking to me.
Yeah.
He's, you know, I'm just being overly cautious. I've heard in my however many years of doing this, I've heard more pops than I care to. So rather not have that happen. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's definitely a comfort level with mount that comes, you know, number one, it depends on the person, right? And what you've learned from, you know, how to attack from mount. And yeah, two, it's just most people are taught how to attack from that side or half guard type position, you know, earlier on. So I think that's what people tend to lean towards.
Oh man, if Austin had better leg positioning there, that could have been a very dangerous spot for Caleb to be, right? So Yeah, right here. Let me see if I can catch it. Right, that leg that we're looking at of Austin's, his right leg. I want to see him jamming his knee into this hole towards the groin. Right. That's so. It seems weird because the knee seems like big and bulbous and not like it would insert to under someone that well. But driving that knee in, I pulled that from like Danaher's instructional. Completely opened up the turtle position for me, and the success rate of like my back takes, right? But because his leg was so far away, or because his leg wasn't even in, Caleb does that little he shimmies his hips out and manages to get safe.
Yeah, when you're in that position, if you're not able to establish hooks, and you're kind of like in that transitionary period where you don't know where to put, like you want your partner to stay there, I'll say, right, while you're kind of making up your mind. You need to be very heavy on the hips, to prevent that rolling, right? The other place that you can be is fully on the shoulder, so that you can anticipate the roll. I think that comes later. I would rather see you stay very, very heavy on the hips. And then, as Matt's saying, finding that knee position to really cut into that hip line. Because, yeah, just like you said, it opens up so many windows for back takes there.
Yeah, I think that was time.
Yep.
Looks like everybody dies here.
I think we're pretty much done. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going over some stuff.
Looks like you're going into a lot of framing discussions, getting safe from side control.
Yep.
What else we got? All right. Well, cool. Damn, that puts us right at 9 o'clock. So I think we'll end it here for today. Yeah, that was good. That was a lot of good stuff. Thank you for the questions, Justin. We'll make sure we go over that a bit more. See if we have maybe some better options from that, or not better, but different options from that mount position to play around with at class. Yeah, you're very welcome. If you guys like what we're doing and you want to support us, you can throw us a tip at our tip jar at coffee.com/mobjj. If you're lurking and you're not chatting, that's fine. Just throw us a follow. That's probably the number one way you guys can support us right now. If you missed the stream, you can catch it up on YouTube, as always. Subscribe over there as well. And yeah, we will not be doing this next Sunday, just a reminder. Yeah, get a gi, James. Jump in. What was I saying? Oh yeah, next Sunday we won't be doing this, but you can catch us on Wednesday at 8 at our usual time. And yeah, anything else, man?
Nah, trim your nails. Don't be stinky.
Do your laundry.
Do your laundry.
And we will see you guys back to our regular schedule with no more snow in the forecast this week. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
See you in class.
Later, guys.
Later.